Connected to Kofi Bite-Side TV. Preparing to live stream the webinar. All right. Where my phone at? All right, we live. All right. Yeah. Hold on, y'all. Where my phone at? Let me put it in on my phone. All right, we live. All right. Why is it back feeding like that?
Turn your YouTube off.
I ain't know I had it on. That's exactly what. Okay, shoot, I'm crazy. Let me put it in on my phone. All right, we live. My bad. Shoot. Hold on, let me go back in. All right. I was trying to turn it on my phone. Okay. No, is this it? This ain't it. I don't see it, y'all. All right, I see it. I see it. I see it. All right. Give us just a minute, y'all. We're gonna get started. Just a minute. Hold on. Share my screen. I'll just put it on there for a minute. Peace, peace, peace. BB Bo. I don't want to mispronounce your name, bro. Baby. Peace, bro. Peace, Sister Jelana. Help us share the show real quick, y'all, so we can jump in. I'm kind of late getting started. 30 minutes behind. But we finna jump right on into it. I'm trying to get my clothes situated. Let's see. We live. Now. Tune in. Family. I'm sharing it real quick. And we're gonna get it in. Gonna get it in. More options. Copy. We gonna get it in. So Tip and Sean, y'all help me share it too real quick, man.
That's all I'm about to say. You go ahead and go live, bro, because we all in the same groups.
Yeah, we live now, man. We on the air. We on the air. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and get it in. Real quick. See what Hepset should got for us. Y'all let me know if my stuff play through, my intro video play through. I'm finna try what Sean did. I tried it on my own, but I mean I wasn't logged on or nothing, but I want to see. I'm gonna mute myself, and I guess y'all, Satep, you, Sean, or somebody in the chat, let me know if the music, y'all can hear the music playing in the background. If it ain't Sean, they know what the hell he was talking about.
Man, can you just get started?
Up here to get it, man. Right. Let me go back over here to my thing. All right. Let me mute my mic.
Man in the full knowledge of himself is a superb and supreme creature of creation. When man becomes possessor of the knowledge of himself, he becomes master of his environment, the captain of his own ship, the director of his own destiny, the accomplisher of his own ends. Man should understand himself because man is full of knowledge, and this knowledge is a gift of nature. When Mother Nature created man, she deprived him of nothing. He was given the faculty of understanding all things around him. This faculty for understanding has not been taken away from him. None of his senses have been taken away from him. So there is no excuse for the black man.
Ribs in my team, red, black, and green. Queens and kings, salute, now scream. I shake, I shake. I'm ripping my team, red, black, and green. Queens and kings, salute, now scream. I shake, I shake, I shake.
Man in the full knowledge of...
All right. What I got up here on the screen is just like my artwork that I got on my can y'all, before I get started, man, first I want to say ETM Hotel, dua aku, dua Netcheret, Fatmu Lafie, Fatmu Iwa Pele, Majuba Iba Gungun, Majuba Iba Gungun, Majuba Iba Lakba, Majuba Iba Lakba. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. For myself, I don't have the
Kofi, you coming through choppy.
Yeah, I thought it was me, man.
To those elders out there that's doing. Man, oh, excuse me, y'all.
Kofi. Sean, can you hear him?
What I sound like now, it's yeah. Can y'all hear me now? Y'all can't hear me?
Yeah. Yes, Kofi.
All right.
Turn off some of that noise in the background.
Ain't nothing but my and my
No, man, on your tabs.
On my tabs. What tabs?
You got YouTube up.
Hey, Kofi, what you said it was on? What you said was on?
Kofi muted himself. You muted yourself.
All right. Give me a second. Yeah, give me a second. Let me go in here and get out some of this stuff. Let me get off here. I wasn't even trying to be on there. Let me get off Facebook. We'll get back to that. All right. Let me get on back in here. All right. Am I sounding good to y'all? Am I clear?
Yeah, man. Let's go.
Okay. Now, what part y'all was choppy on? What me talking about the elders?
You were just talking.
No, I wasn't just talking now. If I was talking about the elders and the ancestors, now I wasn't just talking. But let me go back to sharing my screen.
We didn't hear none of that is what I'm saying. You was
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take two.
All right, take two. Hold on. I'm trying to see PowerPoint presentation. Is this it? Hold on. This can't be it. Hold on, y'all. I don't know why that thing up there twice. Hold on.
That's all right, Kofi. As soon as you come over to the Mac, get that Mac life, you ain't have any problems.
I won't try, bro.
No, bro. I ain't got no
man.
Mac. I flow smooth. It's all that AT&T internet. That AT&T internet. That's all.
Yeah, that you right. That's what it is. That Davey gives me
the last of the dying breed.
Yes.
You better come up.
But again, you know, he said I was chopped. I just want to say ETM Hotel, Dua Aku, Dua Netcha, Fatmo Lafayette, Fatmo Iwa Pele, Majuba Iba E Gungun, Majuba Iba E Gungun, Majuba Iba E Lakba, Majuba Iba E Lakba. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. Yeah, take two, Sister Juju. Oh, and also I want to give honor and praises to the elders. There ain't many elders. I mean, you know, according to my opinion, I'm just speaking for myself. There is not many elders in this social media chaos conscious community. To me, there's only a few, and those few know who they are. I respect them to the utmost. So peace to those elders. Before I get started, I got, which y'all already heard, y'all. I got brother Any Red Sean Calfunny and brother Satep and Rob Mariaman, and maybe a few other people may join a little bit later. Um, but y'all got anything, man? Before I jump into it. Yes, no, maybe so.
Nah, you good, Kofi? I've been waiting to hear something on Kimmon in a while. It's been a while. We've been dealing with a whole bunch of other garbage. It's good to get back. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit y'all with something else again and Kemet pretty soon. Probably in another week or two. Well, 2 weeks from now, because I got something else coming up. But yeah, what y'all see on this screen right here is just an emblem or some artwork on my website, Kofi Pie Written Compositions. Um, Something cool I came up with, design real quick. I like it, but it's on my page, my website. This is my website here before we get started. Please go check out some of these articles on here. These are some great articles that I put out. The recent one I put out yesterday, the pouring of libations. This is right here, the pouring of libations. You can't mention the ancestors without, I mean, you can't mention libations without pouring. I mean, you can't mention the ancestors. You can't mention libation without mentioning the ancestors. That's the name. Go check that out.
You're breaking up again.
Great article. And just check it out. Just check and check. I came up unstable again. Godly.
We hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Get on off the website.
All right. All right. Now today's presentation is called "The Seven Forms of the Netcheret Het-Heru." Netcheret can be translated as goddess. Het-Heru in the Greek form is Hathor. So y'all may know this goddess or this Netcheret as Hathor in the Greek writings. But let's get into Het-Heru. And this here, before I get started, this is just her name right here in the sesh right here. You had a house, and she's this is not the only form, but she's represented as a form of a bird form, a falcon. So you have Het-Heru, house, and the bird which represents Heru, Het-Heru. All right, this is my saying. As I learn, we all learn. My other saying, let's get this culture. We're going to continue to give y'all culture. We're going to keep feeding in y'all culture and y'all traditions, whether y'all like it or not. We're going to keep feeding it to you, keep giving you this culture medicine. All right, I always have to put a disclaimer out here before I get started. And Sean or Satep, let me know if I get choppy. Disclaimer. I am not a teacher, but merely a student sharing information. That information provided is for the educational purpose only. And if you are in doubt, do the research and have it verified by someone qualified. I reserve the right to change the focus of this presentation to shut down, sell, or exchange the terms of the use at my own discretion. All trademark, design rights, copyrights, registers, names, mottos, logos, avatars, and signals and marks used or cited by this website or the property of its respective owner. I reserve the right to add information as it comes available in the future. That comes available or adapt, changes, improve information as it comes available in the futures. Input wanted, changes, additions, deletions are encouraged. I just always have to put a disclaimer out there. All right. The Netcheret Het-Heru usually is always represented in an anthropomorphic form as a woman wearing a solar disc flanked by the cow horns. And we're going to get into a bunch of imagery. Common form of Het-Heru or Het-Heru. Like all the other Netcherets, Het-Heru is represented holding the papyrus scepter, and moreover, sometimes she holds a Uriah's scepter, or Waset's scepter of power and of domain that generally is associated with the male Netcher. Concerning the crown, in addition to the solar disc flanked by the cow horns, that is the crown for excellence associated with Het-Heru or with her set. This goddess represents wearing all the different types of crowns, with the exceptions of the lunar crown, the lunar disc with the crescent. So she wears all types of crowns on her head except the crescent crown. The temple of the Netcheret Het-Heru in Diodora, seen from the south crypt 4 room E, the north wall. This is the Netcheret Het-Heru enthroned with her sacred female falcon. So you can see here on this side in this scene in Diodora in her temple, Het-Heru with the famous falcon over her head with the horns and the solar disc in the middle. This is her crown. And she is holding the world scepter in her hand. Temple of the Netcheret Het-Heru of Philae. So this is another depiction of her on the temple. I'm gonna try to give you much as imagery from off of those temples and walls in Kemet. The island of the time of Ra, now in the Argetic Islands, one of the 13 windows of the western colonies looking toward Abund, the highly sacred islands of Osiris or Asa. On the wall of the Netcheret Het-Heru, standing above the 3 lotus flowers, wearing the solar disc with the cow horns and holding the Ankh light and the papyrus scepter. So you can see her with the Ankh, the scepter, and most of the time you will see her depiction. She wears all different crowns, but most of the time you will see her with this crown here, the cow horns and the solar disc in the middle. Here is the crown here, the horns, cow horns, and the solar disc in the middle. Let's detail interior walls of the temple of Netcheret Het-Heru at Diodor, the crown of the Netcheret Het-Heru. And then here at the bottom, you can see a row of these cobras here. All right, this is something that we was talking about, the lunar crown. She wears all types of crown on her head. Again, for most of the crowns you will see her with, or a lot of the crowns you will see her with, is the cow horns with the solar disc. Now, this and other different crowns too, and I'll show you other depictions of that as we get further into the presentation. But I just wanted to show you a representation of Jehuti. Jehuti wearing the lunar crown. This is what the lunar crown looked like right here. The disc with the crescent moon right here. In combined forms, Het-Heru in the Amenti or Het-Heru in the West, when represented in the anthropomorphic form, the Netcheret wears her head as a standard with a falcon or a standard with a feather. So you can see her in the depiction with a feather over her head. That are the 2 forms of the hieroglyphs for the West or the Netherworld. Moreover, in the relief of Memphis dated to the Roman age, Het-Heru represents the 3-headed. Apart from the offering scene that are coming to all the Netcherets in her anthropomorphic forms, the Netcheret is depicted while suckling the child's Netcheret. And for example, Iha is the Iha or Harsamoto, both sons of Het-Heru, on the walls of the house of birth attached to the temple. So here is a depiction of her breastfeeding. Here, this is in Diodora. This is one of the columns off the hypostyle halls. There you can see she's suckling one of her children, Harsom Tu, if I'm pronouncing the name right. And you can see her trying to see. And you can see her name right here, Het-Heru. That's how we know that this is Het-Heru Words spoken by Het-Heru. I don't know what that is at the bottom there, but this is how we know this is Het-Heru. Here was another depiction of her in the house of birth in the sanctuary here, where she's also feeding or suckling another one of her child. And again, like I said, she wears all types of crown except the lunar crown, but the most one y'all may be familiar with and see a lot is the cow horns with the solar disc in the middle. And here, where my cursor at, you can see her name again. You can see Het-Heru right here. The 7 Het-Heru Netcherets. So let's get into the 7 forms of Het-Heru. The 7 forms of Het-Heru is known as the 7 Het-Heru Netcherets, are always represented in most common forms of the Netcherets, all as a woman wearing a solar disc. And again, Netcheret can be translated as goddess or goddesses. Are always represented in the most common forms of the Netcherets as a woman wearing a solar disc flanked by a cow horn. Usually the 7 Het-Herus represents playing the tambourines or the central. And sometimes they hold a notch palm branch known as the year staff. Just like Het-Heru, also 7 Het-Heru Netcherets are represented in the hypostyle house in Deodora, and I showed you one from the house of birth where she was suckling her child. Y'all, am I still speaking clear? Because that unstable internet thing just popped back up there. Am I still clear? It is pouring down out here. I'm still clear, Sean or Satep? Am I still clear in the chat? One, if I'm still clear, I guess they done stepped away. Okay, she said we can hear fine. All right. Het-Heru head. So we're going into the 7 forms of Het-Heru, the Netcheret, which by the way is one of the famous Het-Heru. And we'll get into that. We'll see why I say she's one of the famous, and she can be represented as a Sar. Not as a Sar, but as the males who die, or who one who dies can become a Sar. We'll get into that too later on in the presentation. The iconograph motif widespread in the Egyptian art is the head of Het-Heru represented the frontal. Het-Heru is one of the few deities that are represented frontality, together with the Netcheret, Bes and the Netcheret Beset, the female counterpart of Bes. The Netcheret Bat, the image of Het-Heru, the child in the Sipi of Heru, and some rare images of Asa, Amun-Ra, and Serapis. The Het-Heru head is always represented in the combined form of a woman with cow ears, with a hair that often ends with 2 curls on the side of the face concerning the crown. In this form, on the Nile syndrome crown, especially from the Het-Heru capital. Here is some pillars of Het-Heru, the pillars of Het-Heru. This is the first form that we're talking about. We're talking about that frontal or that facial look. This is the first form of Het-Heru in the form of a head, a female head with the syndrome on top of the head and the ears of a cow. And some depictions on the columns and on the walls, you will see the hair is straight, or you will see the hair rolled up in a curl. So again, this is off the, these are from the this is off the column the King Naktabo column 380 to 360 BCE, the Het-Heru columns. This is at Philae, located before the collade of the outer courts of the temple of the Netcherets of Het-Heru. Here is another of these 2 pillars in the hypostyle house of the chapters of Het-Heru. a million years of Queen Hatshepsut. This here is in Hatshepsut temple. So you can see the woman depiction. This is the one form, the head with the cow ears, and in some depictions the hair is curled, and I'll show some imageries of that. Here is another depiction of Het-Heru. We're talking about the form of just the form of the head. And as again, the female with the cow ears and the hair curled up and the horn thing. This here is a Het-Heru head pillar from the temple of Satir Set. Yeah, this is an Elephantine. This is an Abu Elephantine. Hold on one second, y'all. I gotta get my boy back in here. I wonder why he can. Okay, more. Hold on, loud to talk, more, promote to the panelists. Okay, so he's back on the panel. Satep, you back on the panel? Satep and Rob.
Yeah, I'm back. It was hell getting back though.
What happened?
I don't know, man. But we can keep it rolling though. I was watching on YouTube.
Okay. Let me get this off here if I can get it off of here. Okay. This is another form. The same form, but this is the head here. And you can see the hair curled up, the female depiction with the cow ear. This is the Het-Heru head capital of the great temple of the Netcheret Beset at Bobatus. This is in Lower Egypt, the festival hall of King Osoko II. This is now in the Lorraine Museum here, this head depiction of Het-Heru. Here is another depiction of the same form. We're going to get into the other forms. We're just still in the first form, the frontal head thing. So here's another picture. This is from the temple of the Netcheret Het-Heru. This is another Diodora. These are the 6 forehead columns. Three here, 3 on the other side. All right, zoomorphic form of Het-Heru. Concerning her zoomorphic form, Het-Heru represents, hold on, y'all, I got to move this thing. All right. Het-Heru is represented as a cow, as a female falcon, as a lioness head woman, and a uraeus, which is a snake. The association of Het-Heru with these animals is a test also by her epithet related to the animal world. The most common zoomorphic form of Het-Heru is the cow. In the form of a cow, Het-Heru usually wears a solar disc or a solar disc with the 2 feathers. And often she wears also the Menet necklace. And that is, Menet necklace is also one of her forms. We'll get in that a little later. Hieroglyph forms of the ceilings of the hypostyle hall. This is another depiction of Het-Heru. Het-Heru, this is one of her epithets that we just mentioned. The lady of Diodora, which is what Natitora is, the Greek, but we're talking about the name is Diodora, the lady of Diodora. This is one of her epithets. The Eye of Ra, which is another one of her epithets, and the Lady of the Sky, which is another one of her epithets. And we know this is Het-Heru again because of the falcon bird, which is Heru, and this, which represents the house here. And we'll get into one of her epithets, the Eye of Ra. We'll get into who is the Eye of Ra, or what is the opposite or the diametric to Het-Heru. Temples of the Netcheret Het-Heru and Diodora details from the South Creek Fall Walls E4. This is from the North Wall. This is the sacred female falcon of the goddess Hathor wearing a solar disc as a cow horn. So we saw the depiction of her as one form as just the head. You can see in these different temples dedicated to Het-Heru, with her face, the cow ears, some with the syndrome on top of her head, and the horn, the hair curled up in a horn. And here is another depiction here, her as a falcon with the crown on her head, the crown with horns in the solar disc here. And again, this is in the temple in Diodora. What represents as a cow? Het-Heru usually is depicted in the scene. In the breastfeeding scene, when she is representing suckling the king or even the deceased king while coming out from a shrine in a papyrus bark among the thickets of the papyrus while emerging from the western mountains of the North world, in connection with the funeral character of the Netcheret, that in fact in the scene usually is called Het-Heru, the lady or king of the netherworld. Moreover, Het-Heru is also represented in the combined form of a cow-headed woman. As a female falcon, Het-Heru usually is always represented in the combined form of a human-headed falcon wearing a solar disc with the cow horns. Here is a depiction of her with the falcon body and the human head and the crown that you will normally see in the cow horns and the sun disc in the middle of it. And this here is off from the this is from the south wall of the chapel of the Nefertim of the great temple of the king of Seti I. This is in Abydos. So here is a depiction here. So I'm trying to give you as much primary pictures as possible of her different anthropomorphic and zoomorphic forms. And you can see her name above here again, Het-Heru. Het-Heru. All right, we talked about the form of a cow. This is her depiction as a form of a cow. This is detailed from the north wall of the hypostyle hall of the chapter of Het-Heru, the temple of a million years of the Queen Hatshepsut. In the west was set Thebes, which is Thebes, Het-Heru. Her form is the sacred cow wearing a solar disc with the uraeus and the two feathers. So here is a depiction of Het-Heru in the cow form. Now she has on a crown. The crown does not just consist of the cow horns and the solar disc, but it has the feathers on it as well. Here was another depiction of Het-Heru in her cow form. And one of the scenes, you saw her as a human with the cow horn crown and the solar disc in the middle, and she was suckling. I showed you two of the scenes where she was suckling one of her sons, and the other one she was suckling her other son. And then on the other depiction, it tells you, we'll go back where it tells you where now she's in the cow form, and now it has something to do with the funeral rite, where now she is suckling, I think, one of the deceased kings. Yes, well, she's suckling one of the deceased kings right here while coming out from the shrine, the papyrus parks among the thickened papyrus, while emerging from the western mountains and in netherworld, the connection with the funeral characteristics of the Netcheret. So that depiction, she is breastfeeding one of the deceased kings. This is from the scene. This is from a scene from the rock-cut shrine of the Netcheret of Het-Heru. This is from the temple of millions of years by. This is by Thutmose III. This is also in Thebes. Netcheret Het-Heru chiefess was self Thebes in her form as the sacred cow coming out from the shrine, suckling and protecting Thutmose III, representing twice in black skin as a symbol of rebirth and generation. Let me hurry up and change that. I don't want to get none started with that depiction. They go. Oh, let me stop. They gonna be talking about shoes. See, right there. They're black. Black land. Black land. This, but this here, I got this from the Cairo Museum. This depiction here is in the Cairo Museum, and you can see here her name again, Het-Heru. So this is how we know this is Het-Heru.
Yeah, but what's that saying behind Het-Heru?
Let me go back.
The front face and the side face, and then that
I
thing
know.
back there with that determinative.
Yeah, that's what's
that
set right there.
049.
Het-Heru, I forgot. Het-Heru, shit, I don't forgot, man. I know that's Het-Heru, her tip was set. I know I'm giving you the translation is Het-Heru, her tip was set.
There we go.
Now I just need the
Okay,
translation.
Kofi.
Yeah, I'm a little rusty. I give you the transliterations all day. Now I might be a little rusty.
I'm about to get mad at you, man. If you didn't come up with that tip,
Hey,
though.
okay, Kofi.
You know that tip.
Break it down.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back in my bag, man. I'm trying to get back in my bag. I gotta live rusty, man. That's why I said I'm finna start doing a lot more Kemet stuff to get back into doing, because that was my first love before I got more into the West African thing. So most of the people I said, if you go back to 2015, 2016, what's up?
Does the cow have on heels?
That ain't no heels, man.
I'm just asking for the audience.
No, sir. If you look at a cow, you know the cow. I don't know the proper terminology for the bottom of the cow feet, but I mean I was raised on a farm, so this imagery here, I mean I don't know, again, I don't know what what you would call hooves or whatever you would call the bottom of their feet, but this
I thought they were called horseshoes.
Nah, on a cow, horseshoes on a cow.
Shit, I wasn't raised on a farm. Shit. I know you throw them. You can throw horseshoes.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know.
Yeah, I don't know the terminology of it, but yeah, those are not heels. They didn't, and I don't think back in those days they had stilettos. As a lioness, the Het-Heru was always represented in the combined form of the lioness head woman, and the Urias Hathor or Het-Heru is represented in the full form of the Urias and also in the combined form of a human head Urias, cow-headed Urias, and a lion-headed Urias. In addition to these zoomorphic forms, Het-Heru is always represented as a winged scattered. So she's represented as the beetle too, the scattered beetle, as an attest by the epithet of the Netcheret, Het-Heru in the form of the Menek necklace. Finally, Het-Heru was also represented in the combined form of the human head Menek necklace, sometime with human arms. So here is, and again, this Menek necklace could be like an amulet. You know, you see in many African cultures, you see them wearing certain type of amulets, and these amulets represents protection. So this is what this Menek necklace, or this depiction of Het-Heru as this Menek necklace. You can see the frontal heads here with the syndromes on top, and this is a necklace piece here. And this is also depicted from the temple of Het-Heru and the Adora. And again, this Menek necklace it represents protection. It's a protection talisman by both the living and the deceased. It can protect the deceased member or the deceased person as well as the living person. The temple of the goddess Het-Heru at Deodora. This is from the scene from the West Crypt 8 room. See, this is the east wall. This is her depiction of a lion right here. This is a drawing by A. Meredith. Right here. This is on Chet. This is chapter 3 in his book, page 74. The king offering file is of cup onyx, and the goddess are Netcheret Het-Heru / Sekhmet. And I didn't want to get into that right now, but you can see the form right here as a lion depiction. So she has many forms. The lion depiction, a woman with the lion head, the falcon with the human head, the frontal head, the form of a snake or a hawk. Here is another depiction of her, again, as the bird body and the human head with the horns, the crown, the cow horns, and the sun disk. Detail of the column. This is from the Het-Heru temple in Diodora as well. The king wearing a double crown. This is here the upper and lower Kemet crown here, the red and white crown here. Double crown playing the syndrome. This is the syndrome here. You also see Het-Heru right here. You will also see the syndrome here with Het-Heru face in it. Before Netcheret, Het-Heru represented her from the human head falcon wearing the solar disc cow horn. Inside the shrine before her is a small image of the king. And again, this is also from the temple of Het-Heru in Diodora. Details from the interior wall of the temple of Netcheret, the Netcheret, Het-Heru in Diodora. This is a hieroglyphic form of the name Netcheret, Het-Heru representing the Netcheret in her form as a Urias wearing a solar disc with a cow horn. So she is also a depiction again of a snake. This is also another one of her forms. In the picture, I tried that. This is the best picture. I tried. The picture was small. I tried to blow it up, so it's a lit blurry. So but this is a snake with her famous crown, the cow horns, and the solar disc in the middle. Here is another depiction of her as the snake body and the cow head. So this is from the house of birth and the sanctuary of Netcheret. This is also in the Diodora, the cow head of Urias right here. So this is another form of Het-Heru. Hold on. So, let me get Juju in here. Peace, Sister Juju. Are you a part of the panel? Peace, Sister Juju. Is Sister Juju, I just put you in. Are she in here? Somebody got something to say?
Man, she on here.
Oh, she quiet. If she had something to say, she could have spoke up.
Nah, when she came in, she muted her mic.
Okay, but peace, sis, peace. Here, this is 3,000. Hold on, let me see. Okay, this is 3000 BC. Het-Heru, known as the mistress of Diodora, the cult central florist in the city of Diodora. 27,000 BCE, popularity of the cult of Het-Heru spread it. 2000 BCE, the princess and priest of Het-Heru tattooed with images of the goddess. 1270 BCE, Het-Heru depicted on the tomb in the Valley of the the Valley of the Queens. 237 BCE, the construction of the temple of Het-Heru in Philae. 54 BCE, the temple of Het-Heru in Diodora was built. All right, I wish I didn't want to read that other slide when she had the form of the lion. We know Het-Heru is in the form of the lion. And this here is a image of Sekhmet here. And Sekhmet is one of the oldest known Egyptian deities. Her name is derived from the Egyptian word Sekhem, which means power. Remember that. Sekhmet name derives from the word Sekhem, which means power or might. And it is often translated as powerful one, or she who is powerful. She is depicted as a lion-headed woman, sometimes with an addition of the sun disk on her head. Her seated statue shows her holding an ark of life, but when she is shown striding or standing, she usually holds a scepter formed from the papyrus, the symbol of the northern or lower Egypt. She was often close associated with Het-Heru, the Netcheret of joy, music, dance, sexual love, pregnancy, and birth. In this partnership, she was seen as the harsh aspect of the friendly Het-Heru. So Sekhmet is another part of Het-Heru. We're going to get into a little bit more of this. Again, this is the depiction of Sekhmet here. And I don't know. I'm not going to get through the speakers, and I'm actually going to talk about the mythology. The mythology in Kemet, it talks about Sekhmet. It talks about the overthrowing of a pep, Ra and the overthrowing of a pep. If you look at that mythology of Ra's child, it's talking. This is another cosmology story. So this cosmology story is talking about Ra. Ra, who created the universe, created the world, created the Netcheret, created the human beings. And upon Ra creating these, creating the universe, creating the Netcheret, creating human beings, creating landmass, etc., etc. As once he created human beings, Netcheret, according to the cosmology, Ra became a human, and he reigned over Egypt. And he reigned over Egypt for long, long, long periods of times, according to the mythology. And as he reigned for so many years, he began to, they say, thousands of years, he begins to get old. He begins, according to the story, he begins to drool. Man begins to rebel. But in this same time, you remember Set, who is a Netcheret, who is the opposite, who is going against Asa and Heru. This is before then. Before Set became a villain. Set rolled with Ra. Set was with Ra. Set protected and defended Ra against against Apep, the serpent, who you could say represents evil, who represents chaos, who may represents confusion, and etc. and etc. According to the mythology. Now men begins to rebel and start to do all types of bad things. So Ra becomes upset and ashamed at mankind because of some of the things that they were doing. So Ra assembled. First he got Shu. Shu is one of his child. Shu and Tefnu, wind and moisture, wind and water. When that's a whole, I'll get into that a little bit later, combining of water falling from the sky with the moisture, all of that. But anyway, he assembled those two to get everybody else together. He gets everybody together, and then Ra came out of Noon, which Noon is Ra. And you can go back to my 75 names of Ra presentations. You can look at my that's pertaining to my book. I have a whole lot of that information in that article. Hold on one second, Sean. I'm popped out.
Nope. I raised my hand, sir.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. We in class. Go ahead.
What is Noon?
Noon is the premortal waters. Noon can be represented as this chaotic abyss, this nothingness.
So is that why the Remech would always say that, saying that, what is it, order precedes chaos?
Yes. Order precedes chaos. This chaotic thing, chaos. But going back into the mythology. So Noon is, according to the mythology, will be one of the higher Netherus. And again, the Netherus, if you look through West African culture, we're talking about these are forces in nature. This is in nature. But these principles in nature. Or you can look at it when we look at other different cultures. You have the supreme deity right here. You have Ra. Then you will have Noon, Shu, Tefnut, Gib, Asa, Set. All these building blocks into life. These building blocks, right? These aspects of Ra, these different manifestations of Ra, these things coming into existence, coming into beings for whatever reason that they're coming into existence or coming into being. So these things will be considered as lesser deities. Like if we look at the people in Nigeria, we look at the Yoruba culture, you have the Orishas. You have Oleron, and you have the lesser deities, which will be the Orishas. You look in the voodoo culture, you have the same thing, the voodoo and the voodans. In Haiti, they will be called the luau. They will be called the luau, the lesser deities. You look in the Kam, you have the Obusum, you have the creator in Inyami, and then you have the lesser deities, what would be the Obusums, and etc. In these in different cultures. So now these lesser deities are these Netcherets, or these lesser gods. Noon is the chief over them, and now she is speaking in behalf of them, and Ra is speaking with her according to the mythology. Ra and the overthrowing of a pet. Now Ra is talking. Now Ra is discussing with Noon, voiceover according to the story of how Sekhmet came into existence. How Sekhmet came into existence, or how Sekhmet is the aspect, another side of Het-Heru. Hold on, let's see. Is it gonna play? Then Ra answered, Noon, elders of all things, and all ye Netcheret, who I have called into being, look upon mankind. Also I have made at the glance of my all-seeing eye, earth, and multiplied to be my servants in life and in death. See, they have plotted against me. They have done evil things. The wicked amongst them have gathered, even now in Upper Egypt, to work further ill in my sight. Tell me, shall I slay them all with the burning glance of my eye? Noon answered, speaking for all the Netcheret, Ra, greater than I, out of whom you came into the beginning, you who are mightier than all the Netcheret you have created. If you send forth your burning glance of your eye to slay mankind, it will turn all the land of Egypt into desert. Therefore make a power that will smite man and women only. Send out which will burn the evil, but not harm the good. Then answered Ra, I will not send forth the burning glance of my eye. Instead, I will send Sekhmet against mankind. As he spoke, in the name Sekhmet leaped into being, in the form as the mighty lion, gigantic size. Away she sped into the upper Egypt and slaughtered and devoured mankind. The Nile ran red with blood, and the earth beside it became the great red marsh. Before long, the most wicked man had been slain by Sekhmet, and the rest prayed for Ra for mercy, and Ra wished to spare them, for he had no desire to slay all of mankind and leave himself the ruler of a desolate earth with no human beings to serve him. Now, I just did a little voiceover from that, but Ra, again, according Ra, had Noon, we was getting counseling from Noon. So Noon told him don't send. He was going to send his burning eye and was going to kill everything because he was displeased with man. He separated himself from man, and he was going to send, he was going to send his burning eye to destroy mankind. But Noon reasoned with him and told him if he sun his eye, then it will kill and burn everything. You know what I'm saying? It will kill humanity. It will destroy everything. So he son Sekhmet, Sekhmet was up for the job. But according also to the mythology, Sekhmet told Ra if he sent him off on a mission, then the blood thirst, she wouldn't be able to control the bloodthirst. And he said he understood. She said nothing will be able to stop her from doing this. So according to the mythology, Sekhmet went in, she was destroying she was killing everybody. She was lusting over blood. And Ra only wanted to kill those who were those who were evil in a sense. But Sekhmet was destroying everything, killing everything. So Ra started feeling a certain type of way, and he didn't want all of mankind destroyed. And even Noon was reasoning with him, Sekhmet is going to kill everyone, where now you won't have humanity. She's going to wipe out humanity. So they had to figure out something in order to stop Sekhmet. So the Netcheret got together, according to the mythology, and created this beer. They came up with this. I don't know if it was Jehudi. I can't remember. I think it was Jehudi. Jehudi was the one who may have came up with this ideal. I can't remember right off top who came up with this ideal of making this beer. So they got this red ostrich to mix in with the beer. So they got them to brew so many things of beer and put this red ostrich color in there to make the beer look a red color and thick like blood. So the Netcheret, their job was to go now and to spread this all over a certain area, because she will only hunt in the daytime when Ra would be in the east, and at night she would rest. So they spreaded the blood out. When she got ready to come out to go hunt on that day, she was bloodthirsty at this point, and she had already warned Ra before he sent her out on this mission. So according to the mythology, she drank the beer, and yes, beer, cosmic thought, and she became drunken. And according to various of the stories, there are different versions of the stories. I'm trying to speak more from the Ra and the overthrowing of a pet, but you have something called Ra Child, and you have a few other things, different versions of Ra and the overthrowing of a pet that I have read too in the past. So the story kind of veer a little bit of different. But one of the stories, according to the mythology, as she became drunk, she went to sleep, and all 24 hours or a whole day, no one was killed. And once she woken up, she was no longer Sekhmet, she was Het-Heru. And then you have where she was transformed from Sekhmet into Het-Heru. She was drunken, and then Ra transformed her from Sekhmet into Het-Heru. And this here is a picture here that I have here. This is from Kaombo. This is a picture of Het-Heru and then a picture of Sekhmet. So two different aspects. So you have the warrior goddess Sekhmet and Het-Heru, the goddess of joy, motherhood, love. That then you have the dead woman were identified with Het-Heru, as men were identified as Usir or Osiris. You know, one can become Osiris when they're deceased, and the same for the female. They can be identified as Het-Heru. Although in time, Shames came from considerate personalities, kindness, love. She is initially littered as the bloodthirst, and I didn't even got to read that because we already talked about that. I kind of already talked about that. This basically what I just spoke about was blatantly in this slide. Here is my sources here. I just wanted to give a few just some information on Het-Heru and her forms, her different depictions. Again, she is depicted as a woman with the cow horns and the solar disc, but she wears all other crowns as well, except for the lunar crown, which Jehudi wears. And she is depicted as what they call a frontal picture of just her face, the ears of a cow, and her hair rolled up in horns. And she also was depicted as a snake, or a snake, a snake or a snake with a cow head. She also has a depiction of a whole cow. She also has a depiction of a falcon. She also has a depiction of a falcon body with a human head. She also was depicted as a lion or a lioness, or a human with a lion face, who represents Sekhmet. And I didn't want to just leave out Sekhmet, because Sekhmet is an aspect of her. You can I'm keep my sources paused for a minute. And again, I got them out of a few books. The Deodora, Land of Goddess of Hathor by Aldaham A. Amin, The Goddess of Hathor, Iconograph by Luigi Trapana, Tales from the Ancient Egyptians by Michael Rose, The Complete Gods and Goddesses of Ancient Egypt by Richard A. Wilkerson. And then these I got off Ancient EU, the other one off the Egyptian God or .org, and another one off of Ancient Egyptian Online of Sekhmet. But most of my information I got out of those 4 books up there at the top. Any questions? I ain't even on. Anybody got any questions, man, on the panel, or anybody got anything in the chat? And I ain't even on. I gotta go back on Facebook on my channel. I mean, on my phone.
Man, it's a pseudo.
Okay. Of course, from the hater. Sean, my biggest hater too, y'all. Y'all know, when a person hate on you so much, they undercoverly love you. They just don't know how to tell you they love you and show you they love you.
The Jeopardy music, please. Do the Jeopardy music up for this guy. It took him 45 minutes for us to get the presentation. I ain't hating, I'm upset.
Yeah, man. Well,
I feel like taking my shirt off on the live stream.
Oh, please don't do that, brother. Please. Boy, you messy. You is messy. I'm gonna start calling you Messy Sean.
Yo, go back to the cows with the black people on them.
No. No, I ain't going back there.
Come on, man. Come on. We need to know if that's the rematch or the Ta-Nehisi.
Oh, man. Oh, Lord. Will Sekhmet be a sister as well of Het-Heru? I mean, she could be. I know, she is the different aspect in Het-Heru. Sekhmet Sekhmet is a different personality of Het-Heru. And I would say, Sekhmet has a different personality, which would be a Het-Heru, because according to the cosmology, Sekhmet came first, because we're talking about one of the creation stories. So Sekhmet will be first, and then Het-Heru will come later, because Sekhmet, according to the mythology, she was hold on, I got 2 people, somebody raising their hand. Is they on the panel? They just raising it. Boy, what is you? Just open the mic, Sister Juju. Can you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clear. Peace, sister.
Peace, ETM Hotep, Bibi Fahodi family. I wanted you to finish your point before I expound a bit. That's why I didn't want to be disruptive. I didn't want to be petty on.
Go ahead. I don't mind. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say I find it very, very paramount and important that we dissect the history and the literature, especially dealing with Kemet. It's interesting that you speak about Sekhmet. For one, I find a lot of women, particularly in the conscious community, who like to bear that title, Sekhmet. And I don't even think that they understand the totality of what that means, or even understand the psychology or the personality aspect behind that name, which I find very interesting now that I'm learning more about her. But also the story that you just spoke of about Sekhmet being bloodthirsty. I believe that I just heard something similar to the point of West African cosmology dealing with the Orishas not too long ago. So I'm going to do more investigation on that to put it together. I can't really recall, but it was a story similar to that of one of the Orishas being outraged and became bloodthirsty, and the other Orishas, female or male, couldn't contain or control it, but they sent Oshuna as a bird. it was a lot of interesting parallels as a bird to reach the sky, to reach the head Orisha, who was killing everyone, and because of the tenaciousness and the how shall I say, the sacrifice that Oshun made, I guess it brought him back to the senses. But either way,
hold on, Juju, I got a question. What book was you reading?
It wasn't necessarily a book. I forgot where I heard it. That's why I said I'll research more into it. But it was.
There's a reason why I'm saying it, because we need to know who the actual authors are, so we can kind of correlate the stories and make sure they're traditional stories, or if there's some of this remix, rebirth, craziness.
Of course, and I'll do more to find out accurate information. I have to find it.
Until you do that, I'm treating you like Kofi.
That's fine.
What you mean? Hold on. What you mean? You treat me like what that mean? What that mean? You treating her like Kofi? What that mean?
We got beef.
And what's your beef with me, sir?
Can you let the lady finish?
Oh, I tell you, this boy.
Rude.
Don't pay him no attention, Juju. But hold on before you get through.
Apologies for the behavior.
Man, Sean, my brother, I'm cool with it. I get it. I understand. You don't want no misinformation put out there,
right? Because what he's saying is, it's like, and we still learning. I mean, me, Sean,
correct.
We still, and the only thing that we have access to someone who has been initiated into the practice and steady excelling in the traditions. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's Brother Ben. So we privy to talk to him. So we're still learning, because a lot of things, like we have a lot of books. I can go and pull probably 20 books dealing with Ifa off of my shelf right now.
Right.
And a lot of those books, some of the things, if you go back and you look at my Yoruba Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3, I did back in 2007. This was my introduction on the scene. Was the
17.
Yeah, 2017. Stop. 2017. And a lot of the information, when I went back and reviewed, a lot of the sources that I use is coming from other different traditions, and they took those traditions and they remixing this. It's not traditional Ifa. You see, so and a lot of things, like you will hear me say the Ojagun. This is something coming from the Lukumi people. This the face of the ancestors. I mean, it was so many, and it was other stuff that I was using, from the Shango Baptist. If you look at the Shango Baptist, you look at Palo, right. And other different traditions. All those things are mixed, and it's not the traditional Ifa. So that's why he said you have to be careful, and that's a lot of times too. I have to be careful when I go talk. And even Sean does the same thing. Before we do anything, we let him vet it, and let him go through it, and he'll be like, "Oh no," or he'll be like, "I ain't never heard of that," and then he'll come back and tell us, "No, that's a part of such and such tradition. That's not traditional Ifa." So, we just have to be careful with that, and I that's why I don't speak a whole lot on it too much no more. Even though I have a whole bunch of books, but half of the books I got, is mixing and matching. I'm gonna pull this from here, I'm gonna pull this from there, I'm gonna pull this from there, and we thinking it's traditional Ifa, and it's not. And we're not. And I'm not saying, because what you're saying, I don't know where I read that somewhere. I don't know what book I read that in, the story that you're talking about, one of those Odus, but I don't know particularly what book and what Odu they say this was pertaining to the story that you told. But that story is familiar to me. I haven't heard it in the past before, but I just don't know where it. And it could be right, and it could be wrong. It could be traditional, or it could be from some other culture that actually infused that in into that. So I don't know. Well, that's all he was saying.
Oh, I totally agree, and I get it. It's just something that came up recently, and the parallels were profound. But even so, I mean, we can find parallel besides that story in many things that are of a West African tradition and Kemetic tradition. And it just goes to show you that, you know, there is an underlying parent culture or so to speak. And, you know, I don't necessarily feel that it's separate, how people like to say that we're not a part of that culture, that's not us in Kemet, because I hear it a lot. But indeed it is. And, you know, it takes more to learn and to vet information. But eventually, you know, with due diligence, we'll get to the truth. So I just find that these bills are paramount, extremely important. It's definitely a learning process to me. So I can build my bank of knowledge. So there are things that I can be teaching the youth or young adults so they can understand their culture in a profound and a proficient and accurate manner without romanticizing, you know, the good and the bad. So we can formulate solutions to problems and be self-defining and also evolve, you know, on a global a scale, you know. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, Sean, what is you doing, Sean? What is you doing? Why is my thing ain't still up there?
Who cares? Is my screen showing?
Hey.
It's my screen showing.
I'm about to kick Sean off. I'm about to kick him dead off of him.
I need to know if my screen, okay, it's showing on YouTube. So, I was trying to see if I actually could share my screen because I could do me a keynote presentation and share my screen from my iPad. I don't care nothing about what you talking about. I was checking my technology out. Come on, Kofi, what this say on the screen? Let's go. Let's get it in. Well, yes, Tep.
Says Het-Heru, right?
That's Het-Heru right here.
Oh, let's go. What it say?
This for Juju right here, man.
Oh, you want us to transliterate? I think it's time for me to go.
Don't pay Sean no. Sean, what horrible sources, Sean? What horrible sources?
Man, them reference books you gave me, man, told me to buy that horse crap.
Man, and again, we was all in a learning stage. Again, this was 2007. 2017.
I depended on you. You was like, this is a heck of a source. Get this source, Sean. And I'm like, I bet I'm finna get this source. Boom, I get this source. There's some cracker on here. Man, I'm like, what this cracker talking about, dog? This cracker ain't
you talking about damn, what was the book? Damn, I forgot. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but you know, this was 2007, y'all. This was 2007.
We're saying 7, man. 17,
I mean 17, 2000. And I can agree. You know, some of them sources. That's why I said on there. That's why I'm gonna go back later on and I'm gonna redo those presentations and bring them up. Bro, we ain't trying to
about Kofi. What are you talking about?
You know, we've been talking about discussion about the traditionalists, you know, the mixing and matching and E5. You know, we've been talking about this behind the scenes for a minute. And you know, and I just mentioned when Sister Juju was talking and Sean kind of was rudely interrupted her while she was in her bill. And he asked her about
being rude to the Sister Juju.
But he asked her, where did she get it? Where did she get the story from? I mean, he had every right to ask where did she get the story from.
I knew that was about to get hot.
Yeah, you know, when we go talking about this, we done talked about this, but we done talk about this behind the scenes so many times for a few hours. And anyway, I mentioned the presentation I did when I first came on the scene in 2017 with the introduction to Yoruba, part 1, part 2.
Okay, yeah, I remember when you did that.
Yeah, you know, and that was 2.5 years, almost 3 years ago now. And you know, them sources that I had, you know, I thought them was some good sources to have. I had a ton of books on there. Sean asked me for the books. I gave him the books. He went and ordered the books, you know what I'm saying? And later kind of find out, you know, a lot of it
You
was
sold me out for some white dude, man.
it was man, one damn book.
No, it was 2 books. It was 2 books. I've got another book, dude, in there talking about chakras.
That ain't that was what's the name? He's black.
Wow.
He's a you talking about Baba. What is his name?
Yep.
I forgot his name. I forgot it.
Yep.
That man black. But anyway,
one dude was black, the other dude was white.
Yeah, the other guy, the Ori book I told you to get.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, but we ain't studying nothing on your screen.
Can you see my screen?
Anybody got any questions?
Yeah.
Can you see my screen, Kofi, man?
Yes, we can see your screen, sir.
What does my screen say?
It says the prayer of offerings.
Who they praying to? The Lord of the thrones of the 2 lands, the King of eternity, Lord of everlasting rule, the Lord of the 2 great plumes. Soul one primordial, eldest, primal without equal, creator of men and gods, living flame that came from noon. They go noon again.
Mm-hmm.
Noon is important, y'all.
Yep. Okay. We done with that there. Hold on. I'm finna get ready to get off here, but before we get up off here,
I want to talk about my good character.
No, we don't know what that said. But but anyway, y'all, please go subscribe.
Turn off my screen sharing,
sir,
man?
So we can get through with the show, and as we can get through with the show. But please go and subscribe to the Seshuma Anima, the Netcheret group. Also, please go and subscribe to Kofi Paisai TV, and please go subscribe to Moxley Warrior Clan channel.
I'm about to hijack the show again.
Please subscribe. Here I got up my website again. Please go check out these articles on my website. Again, it's Kofi Paisai written compositions.wordpress.com. You have some great articles that I wrote on here. I'm gonna repost this in here. The one about the conscious community. I'm gonna repost that one there tomorrow. That's a well needed read. I think everybody need to read that and then reevaluate themselves and why are they in this conscious community and what can they offer to the conscious community. What is bad character? What isn't bad character? What are some of these platforms offering us? Is some of these platforms destructive? Is they poisonous for the people? Is it just for entertaining? Are y'all learning anything off of these platforms? So I'm gonna repost this one with the brain at the bottom, conscious community, YouTube and Facebook. I can't remember exactly what is the name of the presentation. Of the article. But I'm gonna repost it tomorrow. I did that 2 months ago, but I'm gonna repost that. I think that was my second article that I ever wrote. This in here, the poem libations. You can't mention libation without mentioning the ancestors. If you want information on even while I'm wrapping it up, Sekhmet. In my article, I talks about Sekhmet in the article. Why am I talking about Sekhmet and pouring the libations and ancestors? Excuse me, pouring libations, and talking about the ancestors and talking about Sekhmet. In my article, I talk about Sekhmet, and the only reason why I mentioned Sekhmet because in one of the books that I referenced of his own opinion is no cooperative evidence of really what he's saying, but according to the mythology we're talking about, Sekhmet was thirsty off for blood, right? And they brewed this beer, this alcohol. Most of the time we know of water. We know of water. So matter of fact, I'm gonna just go to the article real quick, man. I'm not gonna stay in it long, but let me just go to the article real quick. But it talks about how Sekhmet, this is how alcohol got introduced into libations according to the Mitch mythology according to Sekhmet. Sekhmet was thirsty off of blood. The Netcheret's ended up creating, the Netcheret's ended up taking this red ostrich that they was using for other for dyeing stuff, dyeing hair that you see, especially in the Sudan area and in West Africa, where they use this as some form of a dye in their hair. But they was putting this red ostrich into the drink, into the beer, to make it appear to look like thick blood, for Sekhmet to get overly drunk off of this alcohol. So according to his reference that I used out of this book, he's stating that this is where you start to see all over Africa, after this mythology story was told of the introducing of alcohol into the culture, of them implementing alcohol into pouring libations. Because in libations, you don't only have water, you have milk. You can pour milk as a libation. You can pour gin as a libation, rum as a libation. You can pour some form of a wine as libations as well. As a libation as well. So just check out the article, and I got in the article those different libations, or those different liquids that you milk, water, liquor, and wine. And I break down in the article which one of those you can pour to the ancestors, and what does that actually mean by pouring these different libations. Each one of those liquids means a certain thing to the ancestors.
I remember when you did that. Kobe.
Yep, and I actually put it in my put that information in my article as well. But the article is a great article. I start off just talking about, in the article, I start out talking about missionaries. Sean talked about missionaries today in his things, and missionaries, has succeeded their mission. You know what I'm saying? That's why Christianity is the most dominant Western religion, because of the missionaries going out to set up these different schools, and spread Christianity all over Africa with their schooling, and converting people over into their way of life, and tricking them out of their way of life, saying that their life is not the way to go, and etc. So I starts off with that in the article, how Christianity became dominant through missionary. And through missionary, we have some of our people that demonize our own culture. When we look in Africa, this is an African culture. This is an African tradition when we're talking about libations. So a lot of us, when we're honoring our deceased members, we are honoring them to the highest festivity by pouring out liquor, respecting their name, calling out their name, respecting their name. But we'll have some of our own people say that this is satanic. So I talk about this and I'm just talking about, and I'm writing about the experience that I had before I even get into the libations, and even how I came on me first seeing something poured out, or me first seeing alcohol poured out to a deceased member was in a music video. And I talk about the R&B group, and even the rap group Thug Life and Tupac pour out a little liquor. So I talk about that, so I talk about that. Then I give out a few little definitions, and then I give out how to become an ancestor. You got to be an elder in order to be an ancestor. You know what I'm saying? And while they revere the ancestor, you can be an older, and then you die. You would just die with no legacy. You would die with no one calling out your name. You would die with no remembrance. So all of this is in the article. It's a good article. Good article for those that may be interested in wanting to know about libations, the different forms of pouring libations, how to pour libations, where to pour libations, what type of liquor to use, what type of liquid to use to pour libations. Why are you pouring them to the deceased relatives? And a person can also be an ancestor if he's not attached to your bloodline, attached to your blood lineage. This is an exception of the rule. I talk about that in the article as well. It's a powerful article to me. I took my time. I wrote it. I put together some good. Well, I cited a lot of good information. Those references are in the back. They are in the presentation as well, because I done got better with citing my information in the presentation and not just at the end of the presentation. So those are some good what's the name, those books. I just pick those books up. Those are some good books, some good learning books. Only one book that I think that you should just eat the fish and spit the bone. It comes highly recommended. I bought the book, but I see some things in there that stuff is going off in my head that I'm like, that may not be right. On some, but like I say, every book that you read is not going to be 100% accurate. I don't care what Sean says. Every book that you read is not going to have 100% accurate information.
I'm not the only one who suggested the book was garbage.
What book? No, I'm not. What book?
He said throw it in the trash, and I said Kofi made me waste $20, $40 actually.
What?
Okay.
Oh man, we talking about something else now, Sean. What is you talking about, Sean? Sean, we is talking about something else.
I'm upset that I spent $40 on these books and they got me.
Man, 2,000. Boy, you is crazy. But anyway, y'all, pick up the article, man. Go on the website, man, and I guarantee, man, y'all gonna love all of the articles, man. The one you see right here with Ra, the write-up I did on the Shimshu routine, the one I did about acknowledging people's existence or their being, which is another one that I'm gonna repost to because I'm more into good character. So this conscious community article I did, and this one I did on acknowledging someone's being, which also is tied into humility, also tied into good character. So I'm gonna repost them things, and I think I'm gonna keep reposting them things, man, to people kind of get familiar. And I'm coming from a perspective. I'm coming from an African perspective. I'm using mostly African sources. I'm trying to cite, especially from these two, you know what I'm saying, that's dealing with what is good culture according to from an African perspective. So a lot of these individuals you're gonna start to notice, if you're not already noticing that a lot of these guys have bad character. But I didn't mean to go on too long with that, man. But please go and support me, man. I took my time out, man, and wrote these articles. I just need some more traffic. Even though it has picked up the traffic on my website, done picked up a whole lot, man. But I take my time out up all night reading and pulling information from this book, that book, from this article, from that article, trying to find the proper information and accurate information as possible, and compiling the information as well as with the information that I may already have and putting these articles out, man. So please, man, go check out the website, man. Anybody got anything else, man, before we get off here? Sister Juju, you got anything else? We ain't got no damn super chat. I ain't finna get no money from these folks. Anybody else?
Why we can't start the super chat?
No, I don't. I was actually trying to look for that article because I follow the sites. So
yeah,
Juju.
I thought of Ori Tempo.
Yeah,
so,
I got. Oh, okay.
Juju, just send it to us so we can read it together.
That's fine. I'll do that when I find it.
Okay.
And we ready for you to do your presentation too, Juju.
I already know.
Nah, we ain't getting off this show without you telling us when can we expect your presentation?
When can you expect my presentation? Before the end of the year, before 2020.
It's got to be sooner than that.
I mean, I'm just being honest. Before 2020,
Juju.
Before
Kofi, you gonna let her keep talking?
Yes, Kofi is.
Kofi. No, he not. Kofi.
What?
Yes, he is, Sean.
Nah, we had the Debo Satepin Ra. We had the Debo Vasa.
I'm thick but quick. You're gonna have to catch me before you can Debo me. Man.
Listen, we can get to Florida. We can get to Florida. Ain't no thing.
Oh, I'm waiting. So here's the deal. Actually, I was gonna do a little something like a video diary, and just go around Daytona, Ormond Beach, and do some Black African history in the area. But there's a lot of like indigenous Native American history, here, lots of it. Like I literally live like walking distance from like Indian burial mounds and things of that nature. And we have a couple of like sugar plantations here, and a lot of the Black history has to do like in the you know, dealing with I guess after Reconstruction. Rockefeller moved here, and this is how you get an influx of Black African people moving into the area. This was considered some of the like the I guess the Beverly Hills of Florida, Ormond Beach, where I was raised. So there's bits and pieces. You know, I'm close to Eatonville. I'm close to a couple other like historic Black sites here. So I think that I was going to do a little something on that note, just given some local history. I haven't really pinpointed what I wanted to do a presentation on to share with the people, since lots of things had been covered. But you know, I'll come up with something, or maybe you can give me some ideas, Sean. But yeah, that's where I was going to start.
We wanted you to do we wanted you to do the presentation on Het-Heru. We wanted you to do this Het-Heru presentation. Remember, we wanted you to present on the women in Kemet. We need that energy.
I didn't remember. I don't recall. My memory is shot.
No, don't do that. No,
I was sitting here with a car back in 2009, so I don't got good recall. So you know,
sure.
And I'm a little ADD. You know, I be trying to tell y'all this. You don't be listening, Sean.
I can't believe Kofi letting her do this.
I guess I can expound a little bit more on Het-Heru and Kemet and the women of Kemet. I'm gonna get on it. Definitely, absolutely. Before 2020 comes around, yeah.
We got the sources. So
I know you got the sources. That's gonna be.
Waiting on you to send the email so we can send you the information.
Absolutely. Heard.
Kofi, you heard this, right?
Yeah,
she's gonna have it in 3 weeks.
I have it for my birthday, December 13th.
Nah, we ain't going that far. We can't go that long.
Yeah.
Remember, tomorrow.
I'm slow. I'm ADHD. You gotta work with me, okay?
We Christians. Tomorrow, not promise.
That was funny. All right.
Okay. All right. Well.
Go ahead, Kofi. We know you got curfew.
Ain't nobody got no dang curfew. But anyway.
I bet you won't say that loud enough.
Ain't nobody got no curfew.
Say it louder.
That's funny. And I hear you say that. Sean got a curfew too. Sean got a curfew too.
Yep, sure do. Yeah. But man, again, man, we appreciate, man, everybody for tuning in, man. Like, you know, I say the same thing all the time, you know, and I really do, you know, I really do appreciate it, because anybody could have been doing anything else with their time, but they choose to tune in to listen to what, you know, we have to say. So we really, really, really appreciate y'all tuning in, man, and listening, man. And I'll be back next week twice. Y'all hear my voice twice. I got two interesting presentations. A part 1 and a part 2. I'm gonna do all on the same day, and one on my and one on the one on this channel. I can't remember the name of it, but I think is why animals are so important to African culture, part 1, and why animals important to African culture, part 2. Part 1, I talk about the imagery. I show a lot of the imagery. I show what the animals actually mean in African culture, what an antelope may mean, what a lion may mean, what a cow may mean or represent or symbolic to the culture. And then in part 2, I talk about the animals a little bit more. I go a little bit more detail in the animals, their meanings, the totems of each culture, why they don't eat certain type of meat, what that animal means to this culture, and even why they are into our cosmologies. If you look at the cosmology or even the folklores, a lot of the folklores deal with animals, you know. So we're going to talk about those animals: the lizard, the spider, the cow, the dung beetle. We're going to talk about a lot of those different animals and why they're so important and significant in African culture. I think that's an interesting presentation. So Part 1, and you'll get part 1 Sunday at 2 p.m. and then you'll get part 2 at 6 p.m. On Kofi Pieside TV. So be on the lookout for those 2 presentations. That's all, man. We will see y'all on the flip side, man. We'll see y'all next week. If you missed Sean's presentation he did today, please go back and check out that presentation that he did today on the Monster Warrior Clan. That was a nice build that we had today on I forgot the name of it, but he had a nice presentation. We had a nice build afterward. And also check out the presentation he did on Kofi Pieside TV he did yesterday. I didn't even know he was doing it, and he was calling me out too many times on there. Y'all should have got on his butt for calling me out. The man called me out all day on the show. But check that presentation out as well. I don't know if it was a lot of people that might have been busy, but that was a nice presentation that the brother put together. So go check that presentation out in the archives. And if these videos that we do, if y'all feel like that these videos may help somebody else out, you know what I'm saying, to further their knowledge, give them some information or a different outlook on certain things that they may be battling with or confused with, dealing with our culture and our tradition and our heritage or our history in general, share the video with them. Just share the video with them. Tell them to subscribe. Tell them to hit the like bell. So it may be something else that they may see that it may interest them. That may spark their interest. I know we kind of boring, because again we ain't with all the different antics and cussing and fussing and fighting. Me and Sean, we kid a little bit. We make it a little entertaining, but we don't get into all that buffoonery stuff that you see on some of these other platforms, because this platform, as well as Master Warrior Clan platform, as well as the Seshuma Ani Meta platform, is not designed for buffoonery, you know what I'm saying, to specifically entertain. We come to educate. So we come to educate or just to share to what we know, because I'm not a teacher. I tell you that I'm not a teacher. I'm just here to share information. I read a lot. I find the information to be interesting. I may love the information, and I feel like I need to share it with some like-minded individuals who may like the information, who may not know this information, and I can share the information and then give them the sources, and they can go get the sources themselves, read it firsthand account themselves, vent the information for themselves. But yeah, just to continue to support us, man. And we out, man. Black African power, family.
Man in the full knowledge of himself is a superb and supreme creature of creation. When man becomes possessor of the knowledge of himself, he becomes master of his environment and captain of his own ship, the director of his own destiny, the accomplisher of his own ends. Man should understand himself because man is full of knowledge, and this knowledge is a gift of nature. When Mother Nature created man, she deprived him of nothing. He was given the faculty of understanding all things around him. This faculty for understanding has not been taken away from him. None of his senses have been taken away from him. So there is no excuse for the black man.
I'm bridging my team, red, black, and green. Queens and kings, salute, now scream, I share. I share. I'm repping my team, red, black, and green. Queens and kings, salute, now scream, I share. I share.
Kofi, we still live, man.
I know it. I'm finna turn it off.